for $87,840, nicknamed Cheetozard. The viral fire-breathing creature-shaped snack was sold through Golden. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 660th episode of the Pokemon Podcast. It's super effective. I'm your host, Steve. With me is Hannah.
I am here. I almost wasn't here. I don't have a dishwasher anymore. Something burst. Had to clean up a bunch of water. Not a pleasant weekend. Did that instead of GoFest. Hi.
Perfect. Good thing we have GoFest in our segment.
Not GoFest. Community Day.
Oh, Community Day.
Did that instead of Community Day.
No fue Coco for you. Bobby also here.
Hello. I did do Community Day. I'm sorry, Hannah, that you were not able to. And so I now have Gigantamax Kanto starters.
Oh.
I never thought I would.
Well, we do have our middle segment will be about Pogo, just because there is some Pogo related news, some afterthoughts of Unova Tour Global. Before we get to that, we have some Pokemon Sleep. We're going to throw it back. People like the Pokemon Sleep. We're going to start off with Pokemon Sleep. There was a giant real-life Koraidon. We're going to talk about Cheetos at some point in this episode. And then I think we've all had at least a week-long experience with Triumphant Light, which we'll talk about as well. And then if you are a patron or an Apple Podcast subscriber, which is now fixed, by the way, thank you. No thank you, Apple. It took you way too long. But if you are subscribed on Patreon or if you subscribed through the premium feed of Apple Podcasts, we'll have some bonus talk. We're going to just go over some ZA stuff that we didn't have time for last week. That'll be in our post show. And both of those services have a free trial. So if you're on Apple Podcasts and that's your primary, you do a 14-day free trial. You get the ad-free version. You get the bonus episode, longer episodes, and some of the bonus episodes that we recorded. And then if you're on Patreon, I just turned on a 7-day feature. So you can try the Patreon feed for 7 days and see if you like it. I don't even know what ads play on. I don't even know what ads you're getting. But you won't get those ads on the premium feed. Okay, let's talk about Pokemon Sleep. Bobby, I saw you didn't log in for 6 days. You were real close on my removing from my friends list.
Yeah, you and like 3 other people were like, "Hey, start sleeping again, or else you're getting removed from my list." I took a break. It's okay. It's okay to take breaks from game. I took a break.
6 possible candies I didn't get.
I took a break during Unova Tour when we went up to LA. I was like getting back late at night. I wasn't even trying to like get my Go Plus to go off and whatever. So I just took a break, and then the week after I just took a break. I'm back. I've just been playing plenty the last week. I've been playing more Pokemon Sleep than one probably should in the last week. So I'm back. Don't worry.
Back to sleeping thanks to peer pressure.
Yes, thanks to peer pressure. I'm sleeping again.
The Pokemon Sleep friends list might be the most cutthroat friends list I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, it is only 50, right? So, yeah.
Okay, so there is a new event coming. This is the Psychic Type Week. That is going to start, I actually thought it started this week, but it starts next week. So you have time. Ilka is on top of communications. You have March 17th through the 24th. There will be, they say, lots of Psychic-type Pokemon to befriend. It's not. But they're saying to prepare for the Darkrai and Cresselia event, which they said at the end of March. And if this event ends March 24th, I'm going to assume Darkrai and Cresselia start that week.
You kind of have to.
Otherwise it'd be April.
Right. So there will be a mini candy boost function for that week. So I guess this week there's nothing exciting. This is going to be the debut of Munna and Musharna. And you can go to any island you want, if for some reason you don't want Munna and Musharna and you don't want any other psychic Pokemon, you can go to Cyan Beach, where you will only get Mime Jr. and Mr. Mime. If you want absolutely no psychic Pokemon and you just want to waste your time, you can go to Snowdrop Tundra, which will get you Wobbuffet and Wynot, to the worst psychic Pokemon in the entire. There's zero reason to use them. They're so bad. I would assume most people are going to go to Lapis, which will be Espeon, Wobbuffet, Ralts, Cresselia, Gardevoir, Wynot, Munna, and Musharna. You get everything there except the Mr. Mime and the Mime Jr., and then Old Gold Power Plant is Mr. Mime, Mime Jr., Munna, and Musharna. So I guess if you only want Munna and Musharna, you go to Gold Power Plant. That would seem like your best chance for those, although we don't know what they do yet. But they can't be worse than Wobbuffet. Maybe.
Probably not.
Could be. Probably won't be, but they could be.
Yeah, they could. They could be. Hopefully not. I'm continuing to stay on Old Gold Power Plant because I still want Palmy. I've given up on Ralts. I know Ralts is the best healer in the game, or Gardevoir line, but I'm all in on Palmy.
Wow. So just giving up, huh? How many Ralts did you get? Did you throw away? 40 something?
Well,
or
when I was
20
on
something?
Lapis, I didn't even see that many Ralts to begin with. Not saying I see a lot of Palmies. I think I've seen 3 Palmies this week. And I almost had a good one, except it was Speed of Help down.
No.
So close.
I know. It was like, if it was like main skill up, Speed of Help down, I would have been like, okay. But it was experience up, Speed of Help down.
Yeah.
All right.
No good at all.
Yeah, it had helping bonus. It had skill trigger. It was like good enough. I don't know if we've talked about this in a while, but the mini candy boost for those that maybe just started playing Sleep or maybe have not taken advantage of the mini candy boost, you can do 50 candies per day, and what it does is it gives you twice the amount of experience, but it quadruples your dream shards, which I think my tactic for this is power up Pokemon that are under 30. I feel like once they hit level 30 and you use the mini candy boost, it becomes really expensive very quickly. I guess if you have like a Tyranitar or a Dragonite and you're not getting a lot of candy for those anyways, and you're just swimming in dream shards, I guess go ahead. But I would maybe save some of your lower level Pokemon that you plan on using for, I don't know. I said this in the Slack. I'm annoyed that the Psychic type week, and we encourage you to befriend a lot of Psychic type Pokemon. The game's been out for almost 2 years, and there's not a lot of Psychic Pokemon. Like, what do you want us to prepare for?
Yeah, that is the problem, right? I mean, I was looking through my Psychic type Pokemon to see what I would even want to put out there, and I don't have anything. I mean, I'm on Lapis. I've been on Lapis, so I'm looking for a Ralts. Other than that, it's just like I don't even want to play any of the Psychic type Pokemon that are in the game. So it's like you don't have that many, and then the ones that you do have in the game, I personally am not seeing any benefit from that over a lot of the other Pokemon that I've already. And because of that, I've powered up a lot of other Pokemon and haven't powered up any Psychic Pokemon because they have not been helpful to me. So, yeah, it is weird. Maybe Munna and Musharna are going to be like amazing.
I mean, there is power creep, so the newer Pokemon generally are better.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they won't be as bad as Wobbuffet. But, still, it is. I get it because they want to get prepared for the Cresselia Darkrai event. But I guess I was also thinking like Darkrai is going to be a dark type Pokemon, right? So they're just not like doing a dark event to like for that part. They're just like Cresselia is what we're focusing on. You get Psychic. You don't get any dark Pokemon though.
Yeah, they haven't really explained how that's going to work.
True.
Yeah, the
that's true.
framing of it was definitely different because it's kind of Cresselia against Darkrai. said something about banishing Darkrai or something like that.
Yeah, so maybe. So do you think that they're actually like we won't be able to be catching Darkrai at some point? Like it's more like you're like playing against because Darkrai's like nightmares, right? So like, it's just not
I
even.
think that this event is mean to Darkrai.
Is it? it
Bullying
would be. I don't know if it would be cool. It would be interesting where your what is it called? Your power level, your Snorlax sleep level, like needs to go up to like push Darkrai away. Kind of like a not like a high score kind of thing, but almost like the bigger the number, the more resistance there is.
Right.
I guess what I'm saying is like if they're going to try something new, that's awesome because kind of the events have kind of been samey.
Totally. Kind of? That's kind of is being real generous there. It's the same
So
event.
if they're using this to try something new, that's cool. Didn't they say when Ilka took over there was like a new thing they were working on anyways?
I don't remember that. Did they say that?
I thought they said there was like they were working on a new way to play. Maybe I am the Darkrai and I'm just making things up, but I swear that was part of something.
I
I
seem to
don't
happen
remember
us talking about how we were pretty sure because Ilka was taking over, there would never be any new ways to play. So
Or communication. So,
yeah,
yeah.
Well, Darkrai should be or Cresselia should be at the end of the month. This is next week. If you're listening to this podcast on the 10th, the only thing you have looking forward to this week is Good Sleep Day, which will start on March 13th and then go to March 16th. So I don't know. I guess that probably also doesn't change which island you're going to go to, but if you're still looking for a routes, I guess you got 2 weeks of Lapis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm just sitting over here dream shard broke and looking for a Ralt. I just maxed out my pot size.
Oh,
and
okay.
That takes a lot of dream shards to
Did you
get
do
the last two.
200K or the 400K?
I did like two of them at the same time. So it was the last two. So I'm up to, I think the maximum is 69 pot size. And it's like 700 to go from 63 to 69 is 780,000 shards.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you did both of them.
Yeah, so I did both of those, and now I have like no dream shards.
yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to prepare for Cresselia?
I know. I mini candy boost out the door or out the window because I don't have dream shards to spend on that. That's okay.
Honda, the famous Japanese vehicle brand. What do you call them a car brand? They make more than cars.
I mean, they mostly are
They're
known for
primarily
as
known
car
for a car
manufacturer.
brand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they make
They
motorcycles.
make like jet engines and stuff, right?
Yeah, sure. You know what else they also make? Koraidon. This is
And
off.
Miraidon.
That's true.
No,
they did make
they don't make
Miraidon.
Miraidon. Toyota made Miraidon.
Oh, did they?
Honda made Koraidon.
Oh, wait,
the
was
thing
that-
Yeah, that's the thing that's interesting about it. Is there's two different car manufacturers. So yeah, Miraidon was Toyota, and Koraidon is Honda.
I have thoughts about this Miraidon, but for those that didn't know, the Pokemon Company and Honda have produced a life-size motorbike based on Koraidon. You could see it this weekend. It was in Japan's Honda's Welcome Plaza from March 7th to March 9th, which is like just a huge bummer that it was only 2 days and not longer. I think Miraidon was like 4 days. I think it was like Friday through Monday. It wasn't even The bike is a scale replica of the Pokemon, which can also be which is also a motorbike in the video game. It was on display. This is the second time the two companies have worked together. They're saying here, oh no, okay. Last year, Toyota produced another motorbike on Miraidon, the Star. The last two this is the second time the two companies have collaborated on a themed bike. Was there another Honda collaboration.
This is the second time the two companies have collaborated on something. Like last year, Toyota. I think they just miss.
Yeah, I think the article just didn't notice.
Because literally they're like right afterwards. You're like, last year Toyota produced another one, but it's not. It's different company.
There was not a lot of press releases. Jordan Midler was the best we kind of got here for the press release. Neither bike is fully functional. The concepts are supposed to replicate the size and weight of the Pokemon. And yeah, then it kind of goes on to talk about Scarlet and Violet. And anyways, this is on display. There's a bunch of pictures out there if you want to see it. I do know the difference between this and the Miraidon is the Miraidon. Now I'm becoming Jordan Midler. I'm getting these confused. The Miraidon you could actually stand in line to sit on, but you had to be less than 143 pounds. And I remember at the time I weighed 148 pounds. So I was trying to Google how to lose 5 pounds as fast as possible. But then I realized that, because I think I went to Japan like a month after the Miraidon, and then I realized, it's only on display for like 4 days.
Got it.
But if anyone knows how to lose 5 pounds as fast as possible, please leave a YouTube comment.
None of them are good. Don't. No.
Yeah, so you could not sit on the Miraidon. Sorry, the Koraidon. No sitting on the Koraidon.
Which is weird, because it has an actual seat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say, it feels like it would even be more stable because it's got the
It has the
feet.
legs, yeah.
The legs that actually that actually stabilize the bike, whereas Miraidon doesn't. Like, the bike is just sitting on the two wheels. But who knows? Maybe Honda just didn't have as much faith in the build as Toyota did in theirs.
Maybe maybe Toyota's just a better builder of Pokemon vehicles. I watched a live streamer travel out to the Koraidon, and the most shocking thing about it, because they went last night, which would have been Sunday morning for them. I guess, again, it was only the weekend. It was only Saturday and Sunday. And you would think like a 2-day event in Tokyo, it also being Pokemon, would be crazy. Mm-hmm. And they only waited in line for maybe 10 minutes to get up close to take a picture of it.
Wow.
Like, it was pretty efficient. I mean, they walked to a person giving time tickets. Mm-hmm. Which is like very common for those that have never been to Japan. Sometimes on like the weekends, if Pokemon Center is like really busy, they won't even let you into the store. You go to a person who gives you a ticket, and then that ticket might say like 3:30. So then you come back at 3:30, and then you get in like a pretty short line. Mm-hmm. And then that's like, okay, we're letting 100 people in, 10 people left, we'll let the next 10 people in. So that's usually how they do it when it's really busy. So they did have a ticket system. There was no cost to it. There was nothing of it, but that was all there was to do. So maybe that's why it also wasn't super busy, because you literally got in line to take a picture of it.
To be fair, when you go to like a car show, that is typically what you're doing as well, right? You enter a car show and you take pictures of the cars that are there, and then you leave the car show. So. Yeah. You don't normally like sit in the car that you're taking a picture. Well, sometimes, but not normally. Depends on the show and the people that are there. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird to me because what are they gonna do after with these? Are these models just gonna go back to the Pokemon? Like, are they gonna, did the Pokemon Company pay for this? Probably, like to some extent. Maybe they're going to get to keep them afterwards and they go into some museum or something. It is odd. It's cool. I mean, it's, there's a full on Koraidon and Miraidon just in Japan.
Exist now.
Yep. They exist. Yeah. They're there. But It is odd that they only displayed the Miraidon for a few days, and then now they're only displaying the Koraidon for a couple days. You'd think that at some point they would like maybe have them together, so you could like even if it was again a photo op thing, you could photograph both of them together. That would be kind of cool to have them together, but I feel like the Miraidon just like went missing after the 4 days it was on display.
And them being two different companies might make that harder.
Maybe.
Yeah,
although
I don't know what the Toyota Honda hate is.
I don't know. Honda and Nissan are like about to merge, so those companies are going to potentially be one soon. But Toyota, I don't know.
It's interesting that you brought up the museum point, because I have two thoughts or two experiences. One is when I went to Worlds in Yokohama, they had those big TCG standees of like the full art cards.
Yeah.
And you would think that where did these all go? What are they doing with these afterwards? Because they were really nice and they were really detailed. And some of them got moved to the new TCG lounge in Shibuya. So when you go to that like bad Starbucks that oversees Shibuya Crossing, where like all the white people go, like it's just like all tourists.
I went there and recorded Shibuya Crossing. That's what you do.
Yeah, correct. There's not like a single Japanese person getting coffee there. But if you go one floor above the Starbucks, not only do you get cheaper and probably better coffee, but you get a better view. So the 2 floors above the Starbucks are it's like a manga cafe. And they have like different exhibits. Like last time I was there, it was like Spawn, or Venom. I'm not sure which Spider-Man character. It was one of those 2 Spider-Man characters.
Wait, hold on.
Venom.
Spawn?
It was Venom.
Okay. Spawn is not.
I don't know what Spawn is. Venom is like the Peter Parker abducted, whatever. Right. This is why I don't run a Marvel or Spider-Man podcast.
Can't wait for these comments.
But they'll have different, like I think when I went the year before, it was like Chainsaw Man. I don't know anything about Chainsaw Man besides there's a chainsaw. Anyways, but you pay your money, you get your coffee, you can then get the better view. It's like $5. It's super cheap, and then you can like grab a manga from the shelves, and then you could sit and read. That's cool. So that's like the first 2 floors are like Starbucks. And then the next 2 floors are the manga cafe. And then the 5th floor is the TCG lounge, which is only like a year old. And that is where they moved the Yokohama stuff. Now, there's only like 4 or 5 up there. And I think at Yokohama, there was like 20 or something. There was a lot. So I don't know where the other 15 went. Also, there is no view for the TCG lounge. They don't have windows, so you can't see Shibuya Crossing from it.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of like dark. And because it's the Pokemon tax, it's like $15 an hour, whereas the cafe below is like $5 an hour and actually has a view.
Yeah.
Pokemon tax. So anyways, so that's one thought. The second thought is the museum thought. When I went to the Pokemon Company's headquarters in Bellevue, they have like a cafeteria, and then off the cafeteria they have a library, and the library has like all the books, the kids' books, the coloring books, the Pokédex books. They have like a library of like pretty much everything printed in the U.S. And then behind there is a bunch of plushes that they like switch out every season. And then behind there is the football jersey that they ran for the 20th anniversary in the Super Bowl commercial. And then they have a bunch of other stuff. And what they were telling me is that they were trying to find old stuff to almost like recreate a museum. And when I look at like a giant Honda Koraidon and a giant Toyota Miraidon, I think that begs the question, like what Bobby said, what are they doing with these? And at what point do we get a Pokemon museum? Like, ideally, that would probably be in Japan, but where are all these Pokemon things going after these huge events? Like I can't imagine they're just throwing them away.
No.
Like, there's no way this Koraidon ends up in a landfill.
That would be so weird. No. I'm gonna guess that. Well, based off nothing at all, I would imagine that either Toyota had just held on to the Miraidon, and it's sitting in either a storage facility of some kind, a garage somewhere, or yeah, if it was on display somewhere, we would know that. Like if it was in, because
Yeah.
obviously these car
Yeah.
manufacturers have their own places where they can showcase cars and other things like that. But I'm guessing either Toyota or the Pokemon Company has them locked up in some garage, storage facility, something, somewhere. Definitely not in a landfill.
Yeah, I think so at the Hawaii World Championship, they had a room that was like kind of like a museum room. They called it the museum. And it was like all the old plushes from past worlds. It was like the old deck boxes, the old playmats. And some of that stuff was like missing. Like, oh, you have the playmat for 2012 and 2013 and 2014 and 2009, but you're missing like the 2010. And when I forgot who I was talking to, but somebody said, I think it was a Pokemon Company employee. They said that like almost everything in that room was them were employees' personal collections, or they were buying it off people to like restore it, because at the time they didn't think about keeping everything.
Yeah.
Which is like very like big corporate company of like, we'll never need this again, and then realize your brand is like so old that like maybe you should be keeping some of this stuff.
They have so many things. If you think about like everything they have, and sure, you could obviously be like, well, just keep one of everything, right? You just like everything you sell, you just keep one of, and you store in the vault, right? So that you can bring it out later. You can organize it by year. You can do all this. We're thinking about this 29 years later, right? I'm assuming as they were growing, they weren't thinking like, hey, maybe we're going to want to display these playmats in 15 years
Yeah.
or something, Like,
Yeah. I mean, I haven't actually looked into the Nintendo Museum's updates since it opened 5 months ago, but Nintendo itself only just started having their own museum 5 months ago. And it looks a little sparse. So maybe there's some of the same reasons over there.
yeah, maybe they have everything, but like it's just spread out across the world, and they're like, we don't want to look for this. Like, does eBay have somewhere where we can just get one real quick off of somebody, or like, does an employee? Can we just mass email the company like, hey, does anyone have the 2012 like playmat for this? Like, might be easier.
Well, I'm sure you can find a lot of that stuff on eBay, just at a huge premium. Bobby, you and I worked at Apple, not at the same Apple, and probably at very different times, but
yeah, same time.
around the same time, yeah.
Yeah.
But Apple was famous for destroying everything. They did not. At least the reason was told to me was they didn't trust employees or dumpster divers. They didn't trust any of that stuff to end up on eBay. So the whole point of destroying it was to prevent the eBay thing from happening. So yeah, like giant iPhones or giant iPods would just get destroyed.
Yeah, I was part of the visuals team when I worked at my Apple store. So like we would set up everything, for those all those launches, and every time like all the boards and everything changed. But all of that stuff we had to just send directly back to Apple. We did not get to, none of it was like destroyed at the store or like afterwards. It was taken down and it was all shipped back to
oh, that's crazy.
to Apple.
We had to like videotape us destroying it and then throw it away. We
Really?
didn't
Wow.
ship it back. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we shipped our stuff back. Well, I don't know
you were
about
in
the
California,
boards.
so maybe that makes more sense.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to get back to headquarters. But yeah, it was yeah, definitely. I guess that's just the way big corporations, certain big corporations work.
Yeah. I would just assume that like if they're going to continue making worlds a spectacle and everything, the concept of a museum, I think, is ideally going to get bigger and bigger, and have like a walkthrough of like old games, old consoles, old merch. They didn't have like a lot of non-worlds merch, but I could see them adding that kind of stuff, like is the ukulele going to show up next year in like the museum or like the Bear Walker skateboards or whatever other weird things that were like exclusive to Worlds. WWE does this with their like WrestleManias or whatnot. When you go to a WrestleMania, they'll have like a week before WrestleMania where you can meet wrestlers or you can go to the merch store early, just like how you can go to Pokemon Center technically early before the event starts. But they'll have a museum where you can see like old beat up chair. Like, this is the chair they used to hit Mick Foley over the head with. And it's like, oh, cool. Snap, snap, snap. Take a picture.
Yeah, exactly. You do the same thing with the chair that was used to hit Mick Foley over the head as you do with a Koraidon motorcycle. You just take pictures of it and then you move on.
And then you move on. You get your little ticket, you take the picture, you move on. Yeah. Speaking of moving on, let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to recap some... We didn't talk about Global Unova Tour, and so we'll just give some thoughts on that, as well as some sales numbers, because I feel like the conversation is always, is Pokemon Go dying? No, because Saudi Arabia will. Come on. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. And we are back from our break. All right, so I don't actually have a full disclosure. I paid for my own Global Unova Tour ticket. I paid my $15. Hannah, on the other hand, got a free Unova Tour ticket from Mr.
I guess I have a disclosure then. I didn't know that. You just sent me a code.
I did.
So I guess I have a disclosure that Niantic paid for my global ticket.
They sure did, Hannah. They sure did. No, I bought my ticket pretty early because I wanted to start the battle pass.
Yeah. Yep.
And it was like was it like Thursday, I think, Hannah, where I sent you the ticket? It was like a couple days before Unova Tour. Mm-hmm. And Niantic was like, "Here's tickets," and I was like, I was like, "I don't need this," and they were like, "Oh, give it to a friend." I was like, "Okay."
Thank you, because I would not have bought it on my own.
Did you now that you did your full disclosure, did you think it made your weekend better that you had said ticket?
That's not a yes.
It's not a yes. It was a thing to do when there wasn't a whole lot else to do with regards to the event.
Glowing review.
$15 well spent from Niantic. Glowing review here. As somebody who did buy it, I don't regret it. I think like
starting off great.
Another glowing review. I think the items you got throughout the ticket, like you got a bunch of incense, you got a bunch of star pieces. I think maybe there's some lucky eggs in there. I think I think some premium battle passes. I didn't separate it out. I'm sure somebody did. It did feel like, okay, I would have bought all these items probably anyways and eventually, so they're just included in the pass. The Lucky Trinket to me does feel worth it, although I do have problems with the Lucky Trinket. Really, the problem is just it expiring in 14 days.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. That was not...
What a weird rule.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I guess I kind of get it if people were like, you can be my lucky friend if you give me $10 and then I'll trade you. Like, we talked about that being a thing.
Sure.
Yeah,
they don't want people to like auction off expensive Pokemon by having that lucky trinket to ensure that it's going to be a lucky trade. But you could do that anyway by just like being a friend with someone until you hit lucky. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it, but like, don't stop us from things like these because you're afraid a small amount of people may try to take advantage of it. Like, 14 days is ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous to only have 14 days to use that.
Also, this is probably only a me issue. It's a really silly issue, and I didn't bring it up to Niantic because I know they'll be like, oh, that's maybe next time. But when I got the Lucky Trinket in LA, and it said 14 days, right? I didn't use that Lucky Trinket at all. So a week later, I got the second Lucky Trinket, and they both then had the same expiration. So
Really?
Yeah, it's such a weird issue. So after that weekend, I used the Lucky Trinket, and then my remaining Lucky Trinket still had the expiration of the original Lucky Trinket. So
That
then
was
I
like
felt
yesterday.
more...
Wasn't that like
What?
yesterday?
Yeah,
So is your Lucky Trinket gone, or did you use both of them?
I used both of them. I was gonna use
Okay.
I was gonna use two on the same person because they're local and because we had a lot of trades that we wanted.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Right, yeah.
so it was like, oh, I can't use the second Lucky Trinket until we trade first, but I'm not seeing you because it's like Pokemon week and I've just been super busy. So now I need to use my Lucky Trinket on somebody else because now I'm just worried about losing it because it'll say like 1 day left, but it doesn't give you the exact time when it expires.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is it going to expire at like noon? Is it going to expire at like 1 p.m.? Like, I'm just going to use it on somebody. Also, shout out to literally all of you on my friends list who I just wake up to like 5 Lucky Trinket things a day because you're all using your Lucky Trinket on me, which is very flattering. I'm very flattered and honored to be your Lucky Trinket choice. That's on you, though. I don't know when I'm going to see you to make that trade. I am going to these events, but like... The amount of people who have Lucky Trinketed me is very flattering, but you all need to start coming to these events if you...
So, yeah, that's actually a good point, because the Lucky Trinket isn't that you have to make the Lucky Trade within 14 days. You just have to pick the person that you're using it on, because
Yeah.
you just become lucky. Well, essentially, it just makes you become lucky friend, right? It just turns you to a lucky friend with a buddy, or not a buddy, a friend.
Yeah.
So that doesn't even stop the people who are like
No, it doesn't.
taking advantage of it, because they could just make that person lucky and then maybe they don't meet for a month or whatever. So I don't understand that time limit. That it was not.
Yeah, it
good.
sucks too because I'm already lucky with my friend Julie in Japan, and eventually, hopefully, I'll see her this summer if I go to GoFest. And it would be nice to be like, Julie, I'm not going to see you for another year. I wanted to do more than one trade. I have a Lucky Trinket. Okay, we did our first Lucky Trade. Let me Lucky Trinket. Like, why do we have a cooldown on a $15 item that we paid for? Like, does it matter that much?
I mean, hey, how many timed researches have we had that are paid, and then if you just don't get them done in 2 days, you just, too bad, you paid $10, but like you didn't do the thing in 2 days, so
Yeah.
it's gone. You know,
Yeah,
like
but I genuinely do not see a good reason for there to be a time limit on this new item.
No,
It makes
same.
it feel like the item is worth much less than we thought it was.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And for the record, I think it's a cool item. I really like it. I think it was a cool thing to earn on top of everything else you were getting. It was just
Well, I think
really weird logistics.
I think that's why the time limit is such a bummer, because it was an item that everybody was like, "Oh, this is actually a good item." Like, I don't think anybody disliked the item. That's the thing. It's like, other than the time limit, the item is great, you know. And then they were like, they Niantic'd it up, and they were like, "Let's throw a time limit on there. It can't be too positive. We can't have everybody loving it too much. Let's throw a time limit on there."
You can't be too excited about this item. How dare you? Did you make it to Lucky Trinket territory, Hannah?
Not quite. I really tried with the time that I had. I was maybe 10 ranks away. I was going hard up until the last minute with the time that I had that weekend, but I was not able to dedicate my entire weekend to Pokemon Go. And
You
So I
move
didn't
your
quite
life
get there.
for Niantic?
nope, not this time.
Hey, I'll agree with Hannah on this one. I also did not make it to Lucky Trinket
What?
status.
That
last
surprises me,
weekend.
actually. Although I guess you went to the
be fair,
in-person.
To be fair, I was at the in-person, so I got
Yeah.
that lucky trinket. But
So you
it was
would
my
have had the
daughter's-
same issue I would have had.
Um,
No, because you
No.
used your lucky trinket at the event, right?
no, I didn't. Actually, I traded my wife the other day. to use my lucky trinket. But it was my daughter's birthday last weekend, so we were I was kind of doing
Right.
stuff with my family on my wife's side and on my side for the whole weekend. So I did play, global as much as I could, but it was not enough to get to lucky trinket level, which I think was level 100 on the tour pass. Yeah.
Yeah, I made it to. Okay, so I only played one day. I only played Saturday, and I made it to 350 out of 500.
Because we had the whole week,
Yeah.
right? It was started at the beginning of the
Yeah, I
during
think
the Road to Unova week.
because I bought the ticket on Monday because I wanted to start it. I think whatever the cap was, 25 or 30 or whatever you were allowed to get to. 50. I don't remember.
150 or something per day.
You could only go up 5 or 10 levels a day or something.
Oh, so maybe was it 50? Was it? I thought it was
I think it was
150
5 levels a day because I ended day 1 at 6 and then ended day 2 at 11.
Okay.
So I was already plus 25 going into the weekend. But
Got it, okay.
once you get past 100, it was really easy to, like, all you're getting is Stardust. You're not even getting a lot of Stardust. You're just getting Stardust afterwards.
Really making it even seem more worth it as you're talking.
Yeah, I mean, like, the number goes up, so that's kind of cool, I guess.
And Stardust is one of those items that a lot of people generally want, I guess. I'm rarely short on Stardust, but some people often are.
Yeah, I mean, you have 3 non-GBL players here on this podcast, and we're all kind of swimming in Stardust more.
No,
more or
not
less.
me.
You trade too much, Steve.
Oh, you
I
trade
do.
a bunch.
I
Yeah,
trade too much,
yeah.
and I'm always like, all my trades are like $500,000 because the person needs something they don't have.
Yeah.
I only played on Saturday though. I didn't play Sunday at all. I did the 8 hours on Saturday. It got to 350. It was fine. I guess my review of the event is it did really feel like you did not need to play both days. Just pick one day. And I don't even know if you had to play all 8 hours when the biomes were rotating. I still think the biomes rotating are great. I have no problem with that. I think the Pokemon selection was okay. It obviously less exciting for me since I played in person. The big complaint is the same complaint as Sinnoh Tour, as Hoenn Tour, is the shiny odds are not boosted. To be fair, I understand no one reads. People listen to this podcast so they don't have to read because we read the news and I read it very poorly because I have a 4th grade reading level. Is that Niantic never promised a shiny boost. They never said that. They didn't say it last year. They didn't say it for Hoenn Tour. There were Pokemon that were shiny boosted, and we found that out probably a couple hours after New Zealand was playing. It looked like the Pikachus were boosted, and the Deerling in research was boosted, and then Kling was 1 in 64 because it's always 1 in 64, so those were more likely. I don't know. I think the starters were boosted depending on what you picked. So if you picked Oshawott, your Oshawotts were boosted. That's how it was last year for Sinnoh Tour. There was 4 Pokemon you could pick from. I don't remember what they were
Yeah.
though, but whatever you picked, that Pokemon specifically was boosted. I don't know if I have a horse in the race of this was better than Hoenn or Hoenn was better than Sinnoh. They all kind of felt the same.
Same. I don't know. They
Yeah.
all felt the same as well. And
The first couple were really good. The more recent
Yeah.
ones less so.
So
Yeah,
that I
Kanto
think that
and
was just
Johto.
that was just going from not having an in-person event to having in-person events, right? So Kanto, Johto didn't have in-person events.
And they were both paid.
And
they were not free.
They were paid, and they told you when you paid for a ticket that Pokemon were shiny boosted. Then they took the paid ticket away from the Global when Hoenn had an in-person event, and then we were, that was theorized oh, well, they're not going to make the Global one shiny boosted because nobody has to pay for a ticket. And now they want to funnel people to an in-person event, right? They want people to go to these in-person events where things are shiny boosted and there's much more going on. So it totally makes sense that they aren't shiny boosting, or they're not at least like saying, "Hey, everything's going to be shiny boosted," because you're not paying for anything. You know,
Yeah.
it became a free event, and I don't know, they're fine. I don't think that they are. Uh, when we talked about the in-person one, we were like, "Oh, it's kind of like almost like you have like your winter time Go Fest and your
Yeah.
summertime Go Fest now, right? Like with the in-person. This
Mhm.
like the global one does not feel like
No, it
that. It
doesn't.
isn't.
And
It's
it
not.
used to.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
really the big thing, that it
Yeah.
used to feel like the other big event that you would want to get together with people to play.
Mm-hmm.
And it just hasn't felt like that since they started breaking it out into global and not.
Yep.
I think. Oh,
Totally.
also, I think the Enigma stops were also shiny boosted. I think all of the Enigma were 1 in 64, which were N's Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool that all that stuff refreshed on the hour. Uh, of course,
I
if
like
you're in a
that.
big city, amazing, because you could do the same loop. If you lived in a town of 4 Pokestops, waiting an hour for those 4 to refresh and none of them being Enigma,
Yeah. Still better that they were refreshed at all, because
yeah,
that also
Yes.
does help the smaller towns with 4 Pokestops, because you got 4 every hour rather than 4 for the entire day.
yeah, um, yeah. I think it's a fine event. Um, there must be some math or calculation on the back end because I think the complaint, and I think it's very valid, is just offer a paid ticket. Like, have the event be free, but some of us want to pay money for more stuff or more features or increase shiny. Why can't we have both? Why can't we have free and paid? There has to be some math on the back end being like, if we make it free, more people will do it, and because more people will do it, the peer pressure or the fear of missing out, and we'll sell more raid passes, we'll sell more incubators, we'll have more people do this versus a $5 ticket.
I really think that they want a differentiator between going to an in-person event and having a global event. In this case, for this specific event, I'm not saying for all events, but for this specific event, and I think that is a big one. Like, shinies are still a big uh, thing for people who play Pokemon Go, or anybody who plays Pokemon. It's become more and more of a bigger thing, right, as time has gone on. And I
And
think that,
Pokemon Go was part of that.
yeah,
Just
oh yeah,
Yeah, oh
100%,
yeah.
100%, totally. And I think they want to keep that differentiator for things outside of GoFest. I think GoFest is on its own thing, but I think that because that was one of the first things that went, right. They were like, okay, in-person event, no more paid tickets at the global. And one of those things that people would pay for is because of the increased shiny rate. I mean, like, that's a huge thing that people will pay for. So to take that away is very clearly, in my opinion, saying like, you want those shinies, go to the in-person event. Like, global's just not going to have that. And I think that is kind of what it is. Again, they tried something this year different, right? They gave us the tour pass, and then they gave us the, hey, $15 and you get, double the stuff. Some of the stuff was a little bit different too. Like the premium, when you had the premium, like some of the rewards were like candy for the basic one, but then like it was an encounter with a Pokemon for the premium.
Yeah.
So it was like Pawniard candy for the basic, but a Pawniard encounter for the premium. So there were some differences like that, but I really think they just want that differentiator to be, you want those increased shinies, like, go to the in-person event. Specifically for the tour. I know like GoFest is different, but I think for this that's the reasoning.
Well, speaking of money, this is off PocketGamer.biz. Pokemon Go Tour Unova, the global event, made 19.8 million in 2 days. Pretty good for a free event. This is coming from App Magic, which looks at the player spending between both the App Store and Google Play, but it does not look at Pokemon Go's web store, which is what. When we talk about like, oh, is Pokemon Go dying, which is, I guess you put any game as any game dying. that you see, if you look at the chart, you can see 2020 and 2021 being the best years for Pokemon Go. That was also the best year for Twitch. That was also the best year for YouTube. That was the best year for Netflix. So, like, there's a lot of games where those 2 years, easy to guess why, those 2 years were their best years. And then it went down. But since it's gone down, the web store has also went up. And now we don't know how much the web store is making. So it is likely that Pokemon Go is still making more money than it did before COVID because of the web store. And the numbers we are looking at are only Google and Apple. And personally, for me, if I'm going to buy coins, I am going to go through the web store because I'm going to get more for my value.
Yeah, the web store is a better deal.
Yeah.
Even though many people, I think, still don't know about it.
Yeah.
Web store for sure is a better deal. However, I will say for me, a lot of the times that I'm buying coins, it's like, I'm going to jump into a remote raid pass or a remote raid or something. Yeah, so it's like, I need to do this now. So or yesterday for Community Day, it was like the Gigantamax raid. I need the particles, right? I need them right now because I'm trying to jump in this raid to do this. So you end up buying things through the app because it's just quicker. But if you have the opportunity, definitely buy through the web store whenever you can, because you're literally just getting more coins for your money by going through the web store.
There was that. Did you do that web store deal like a month ago that was you get 50% more coins on your purchase?
No.
Oh,
it was a great deal. It was one of the better deals that I think that web store has.
It was the best deal they've ever had.
Yeah, for sure. But
they were gearing up for Saudi Arabia. They were like, get your coins now.
Yeah, right.
That's what all these tickets and sales and new items and.
Yeah. So, also in the same article. So they said they made 19.8 million for the global event. That's not the in-person event. Where did they say? They said that Hoenn Tour, yes. Although Unova's global made 19.8 million, Hoenn Tour global in 2023 made 20 million. No word of what Sinnoh Tour made, but that doesn't scream like a dying game to me when 2 years later you're still making the same amount of money on just a weekend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we don't know how many people purchase their tickets through the web store, how many people purchase coins through the web store. So ideally, I'm very confident to say Unova Tour made more than Hoenn Tour because we're only looking at App Store and Google Play.
When did the web store release? Like, was the web store around when Hoenn Tour came out or no?
No, that was shortly after Hoenn Tour, I think.
Okay.
I'm seeing May 2023.
Yeah, and Hoenn Tour was February of 2023. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, then that's a huge difference there. Just like taking away one revenue path.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty confident there. That's again, and that's not to say that's not to defend any of this. It's just purely talking about the game is making money still.
You do have to take absolutely. You do have to take into consideration that like the app numbers are going to be down though because the web store is up.
Yes,
that's true.
So ultimately, they probably made more this year.
But I'm saying like the people that would have bought through. So if you look at Hoenn, they only had the apps to buy the stuff through.
Yeah. So
you're looking at that in total. In this, people who were paying through the app now paying through the web store. So like there might not have been. Yeah. So there's more web store sales on top of the app stuff. So I guess it.
If you were to buy the battle pass through the web store, you got like more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got like a free incubator and some other stuff with it, I think.
Does Niantic have to pay the Apple and Google tax, or are they those like part of that like reader app that gets like the?
No, they pay the 30%.
They for sure have. That's why the web store exists.
Yeah.
Right, because the reader apps don't have to do with games, right? That's the whole idea. The reader apps
Yeah.
like Netflix and like those, they're not game specific.
I don't know. Reader app? I don't know what
I don't know what you're-
to.
They're called reader apps. They're not actually like it's a category of app that Apple essentially allows to not have to go through the same 30% things that like other apps have to do. So they gave that benefit to very specific apps. They have nothing to do with reading. It's a lot of like streaming apps actually. I don't know why they're called reader. There's a reason they're called reader apps.
Like
but
I know like Netflix has a specific deal or something.
There's a category of apps called
Yeah.
reader apps that have that specific deal with Apple where they don't have to pay the same as everybody else.
And I think
And-
if you're a small developer and you're making less than $1 million a year, you get like a better deal until you hit $1 million.
That's different than this other category of apps. But
Okay.
I think the whole idea was that games were excluded from that, so that because the whole point is like they want the games to be paying the 30% because the games are the ones that bring in the most
I know
money.
Niantic's web store goes through Zola, which is like the same payment processor that like Fortnite uses. So that's not unique. Last bit of news here before we take a break. LA Times reports that there was 48,000 visitors and roughly 253,000 participants in throughout Los Angeles and Orange County for the in-person event. 21 million Pokemon caught. I don't know. All these articles put in fluff about Pokemon and SEO and stuff, but I guess those numbers are correct. I don't know where they got them from.
The venue maybe or something.
Yeah, probably the venue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you could. I guess the stadium has a limit of how many people are allowed in.
Yeah.
So if they're saying 48,000 visitors throughout the weekend, but a quarter of a million people had tickets or played, I don't know how they got those numbers, but I have nothing to compare it to. I don't have an article of like last year's numbers or the year before, but
I don't even understand how that works because if only 48,000 visitors visited the Rose Bowl, but 253,000 participated, but you had to have purchased, you couldn't purchase like citywide experience without purchasing a ticket to one of the days.
are they just saying that there was
So
a quarter of a million people who opened their app that weekend?
I think so. Maybe they're just taking the data of like the Los Angeles area and people that played Pokemon Go that weekend, because again, you have to have purchased a ticket to one of the park days in order to get the citywide experience. So who knows? But
Yeah, I mean,
people are still playing the game. Like,
there were a lot of people still playing the game.
yeah.
If everyone who bought a ticket spent $50, which the ticket was $30, adding on 1 day of city play was $20, that would be $2.4 million.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
I'm assuming most people spent more than $50 since.
I was going to say, I spent 100 or something for 2 days of city play and the shirt.
And then did you do egg or raid lover?
No, I didn't, because I was very anti-egg and raid stuff in the moment of when we purchased the stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like, I was like, I hate raids. I'm not doing this. Like, I
You
hate
can-
eggs. I'm not
For
doing
future reference, you can add the add-ons at any point during the event if it's anything like GoFest.
Yeah.
this. Really?
It was
They-
it was only the very first time they did the raid lover that they said like they didn't figure out how to program it. They were like, we don't know how to. They were like, you have to do it at the time. But now, you can add them on at any time. Even the shirt, assuming they had the shirt in stock, you
Right,
could go in
yeah.
and add it.
You could go up and just order the shirt at the venue. Like, there was remember there was like a booth where you could buy not pre-order shirts.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal with that is.
Yeah.
Because, like, I guess some behind the scenes, sometimes Niantic gives us, like the content creators. Sometimes they give us like shirts, sometimes they don't. They were like really weird this year where they were like, please let us know what size you want and then we'll set them aside because we're like sold out of shirts. And I was like, I don't know, I'll take a medium. And then I completely forgot to, I didn't even know where to go to grab it because they were like, it was going to be in the room. And then I didn't see anyone. I didn't see like a Niantic employee at all all weekend. So I didn't get a shirt. I said I wanted a shirt and I would be willing to pay for it. But then I just forgot. And I was like, I saved me $27, I guess. To be fair, I thought the shirt looked great this year. It looked really great.
That's cool.
Actually, I was gonna say, we were gonna take a break, but literally one more thing. They announced the Global Go Fest, or sorry, the whatever this year's Go Fest is. This year's Go Fest got announced. It will be Volcanion is the mythical. It will be Zacian and Zamazenta as the legendaries, probably in their crown formed. They did the thing that I said it would be the dumbest thing if Niantic did not allow you to play in the biggest city in the United States. Hey, you're playing in New Jersey, and across the river is the biggest city in the United States, but you can't play there. You can play in New York. All 5 boroughs, you can play in New York. So Niantic's not completely incompetent. They realize that people want to play in New York.
Okay, I will say real quick, just to defend that, like when we were able to play in Los Angeles or Orange County for the Unova tour for the city experience part, and that was like far reaching because Orange County is not in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Like they're separate counties and it goes pretty far south because Orange County is between the San Diego County and then Los Angeles. So it's like a pretty wide area. And when I was driving home on Sunday, like I was able to go pretty far south and I was still seeing all the spawns and everything, which was very cool. So unsurprising that like you were able to play throughout New York City because just from that, it was like they're really spread it out. It wasn't just Los Angeles for Unova Tour. So
it would have just been crazy if they didn't allow it.
Yeah.
For those considering going, I don't know if it's sold out, but it's only pre-sale. So the only thing that sold out was you saving $5. And I think as of this recording, Osaka sold out in 2 hours. Not surprising at all. I do think Paris sold out as well, but I think New Jersey is still there. Now, I told our communities both on Discord and Slack that the preferred day if you want to play with the community is Friday morning. I think it is 1,000,000% worth it to take an extra day off of work if you can, if you have the luxury to, if you have the ability to. Friday is less lines, less people. If you want to take a break for food or for water, you're usually not waiting nearly as long as you would on a Saturday and Sunday. I've been to a dozen of these events, safari zones, wild areas, go fests, go tours, and Saturday is literally double the amount of people as Friday. It's like a night and day difference. So if you can afford it, or if it's a luxury for you to take off Friday, I think Friday morning is the go-to. I don't know if Friday pre-sale are sold out, but like I said, it is just pre-sale. So if you want to wait until normal tickets go up, that's the beginning of April, I think Niantic said on their website. If you, for whatever reason, cannot do Friday, I think mornings are better than evenings, mostly because of heat. So if you have a choice between the morning session or the afternoon session, I think the morning session is better. And then finally, I do plan on streaming the Friday and Saturday. This is what I did last year. And then I don't plan on streaming the Sunday. The Sunday, I do want to be more of a community-focused thing where we can all hang out. You don't have to worry about me being live. You don't have to worry about me shoving a camera in your face. And we went to Central Park last year. I've been told by people that Central Park has only gotten worse for cell phone service. So we're going to maybe look at a different place. But ideally, we had like 80 people. Hannah was there. It was great. We had like 80 people show up. We all went through Central Park. It was fantastic. We wanted to do that again.
It was a good time with the community. The cell service was really not helpful.
Yes, and I've heard it's only gotten worse. So we're going to do another Sunday meetup. Right now, just Central Park, because it's the safest place for 80 people to walk without anyone getting hit by a car. But if there's a different park or there's a different area that we can all go to, we'll let you know. But if you want to play with us, what I'm saying is either pick Friday or Saturday and then let your Sunday be your city play, so you can do the raid event or whatever we decide to do on Sunday as we all play together.
And I am looking at weather from New York in May last year. It does look like things ranged from around 70 to around 80. So hopefully there's not as much overheating at GoFest this year.
Yeah, it was quite hot last year.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, let's take a break because we got to talk about Cheetos when we come back. So we will be right back. And we are back from our break. Today.com. Again, look, sometimes you just pull the articles that have the good headline. Here's the headline. Viral Pokemon-shaped Cheeto named Cheetozard sells at an auction for nearly $88,000. On March 2nd, a flaming hot Cheeto... This is a real article. I promise you. This is a real event that happened. On March 2nd, a flaming hot Cheeto shaped like the Pokemon Charizard sold at auction for $87,840, nicknamed Cheetozard. The viral fire-breathing creature-shaped snack was sold through Golden, an online auction house specializing in trading card games, collectibles, and other memorabilia. Cheetozard is a 3-inch long flaming hot snack mounted to a custom Pokemon card encapsulated in a clear storage box. Bidding for the item started at $250 on February 10th, and 60 bids later, the winning bid of $72,000 was made on March 2nd, according to Golden. The extra $15,840 on the final price of the auction house's 22% buyer's premium fee. Well, I'm glad that also auction houses are ripping people off. That's great, too.
Always have. It's not new.
Always have. Always have, always will. Golden declined to share who purchased the Cheeto, but said people from all over the world visited the website to watch the auction, which ran for a month. Golden specializes in rare, one-of-a-kind collectibles, and Cheetozard is exactly this. Dave Ammerman, Golden's head of consignment, tells Today.com. Part of what makes the item so fun and unique is it bridges the two fandoms, Pokemon and Cheetos. What an embarrassing thing to say. That's what we've been waiting for. Finally, Cheeto fans and Charizard fans have come together for $84,000.
Specifically, Flamin' Hot Cheeto fans, which is definitely a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it looks like a middle school diorama.
It does. I feel like this would have sold for a lot more had they got it graded. It's a raw Cheetozard here.
Don't you worry, Bobby.
Yes,
in 4 months on this podcast, we will be talking about the PSA 9 version of this Cheeto going back up for auction.
Yes, I hope so. It looks like Charizard.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, yes. Also, when you're spending $80,000, you're not even getting free shipping. It was $20 to ship this.
No, but truly, it looks like a middle school diorama. I'm pretty sure I used those exact same plastic cases in middle school, and you can see the tape holding it closed.
There's no way they pulled this out of the bag. This has to be fabricated.
I don't know. I've eaten a lot of Flamin' Hot Cheetos
possible
in my day, and there's some weird shaped ones that come out of the bags.
I mean, if you guys are believers in the Cheetozard, I'll back you. I'm just putting a little doubt in that this could be fabricated. But I'll agree. If you guys are more of a Cheeto connoisseur than me, then I will believe you guys.
I ate Flamin' Hot Cheetos like every day for lunch in 7th grade. So I had my fair share of
So you're
Flamin'
saying
Hot
this is
Cheetos.
believable?
I think that this is believable.
The shape
Okay.
does look like some Flamin' Hot Cheetos that I've seen, had. Yes.
You could have had $88,000 or $72,000 as well, Hannah. Have you kept one of those Charizard-ish looking Flamin' Hot Cheetos? You had the diorama box already. It would have worked.
Yes, and the graphic design on the custom Pokemon card is not particularly complicated.
No,
It's
it is not. It is not. I like how they did put the hit points in there
Okay.
for the.
I wanna shift the
I
conversation
like how
a
they
little
put
bit.
evolves from Cheetomelion.
That's pretty good. To shift the conversation a little bit, if we're all believing that the Cheetozard is real, that it came out of the bag as such, I still think that there is, anytime there's an auction like this, and there is a private bidder, there's part of me that believes that this whole thing is just fabricated, and that the private bidder is just somebody at the company, and they are using this to drive website traffic to sell other stuff. And
I would agree. You're saying it's someone
mean-
at Golden
yes,
at the auction house?
yeah,
I would agree with you if if the auctions, like, go back and look at some of the auction items that these auction houses sell, and I think you might think different. Because it'd be like, it's one thing if it would be like, if it was like a one-off, or if it wasn't like such a big auction house or such a well-known auction house, but like they bring in a ton of money. And like, yeah, this is marketing, right? Like we all
It
are
is
now
marketing,
looking at,
yeah.
we're seeing Golden Auction House. And how many people will click on that Instagram, link that's in there and go to Golden's Instagram page and then start looking at, so there's that for sure. But a lot of people the person who paid $72,000 for Cheetozard probably does not want anybody to know that they paid $72,000 for Cheetozard. So it's not
why?
surprising
They
that this
clearly
stayed
have
anonymous.
so much money.
That's
That's kind of
that's
why.
why people, stay anonymous with these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to.
I think
not
that
like,
if it was completely fabricated, it wouldn't look like a middle school diorama.
I mean, I've been to like a lot of not auctions for like collectibles like this, but like car auctions where people auction
back
off
to the
like
cars.
fairly like high dollar cars and stuff. And I've never been able to purchase any of them, but a lot of them go through, anonymous buyers, right? Like if you're there at the auction, obviously you can't be anonymous, but like a lot of people phoning stuff in and then like it's anonymous and on one end. So I don't know, not super surprising. It's surprising that this sold for $72,000.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had someone bidding on it who wasn't the person who won it just to pump up the price.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I don't think the whole thing.
sure, maybe up to like $3,000. It was like those were real people. I only bring that up because we know that Wata Games has been caught doing that multiple times, where they're purposely bidding on their own stuff to drive the market up.
Yeah.
I don't know where. Like, I don't think anyone should be buying from Wata Games, or I don't think Wata is good at all from everything I've seen on them. But I don't how premium is Golden compared to everything else out there.
Yeah.
Like, is it? I'm assuming
sure
it's more
it's
trustworthy.
It's quite a well-known auction house. But yeah, I don't know. I think that this whole thing is ridiculous in the first place.
I'm glad this episode we can talk about Cheetos and giant Honda Koraidons. A perfect post Pokemon Day episode.
Yep. For the moment we are in, fits right in.
Yes. Triumphant Light. We talked about this a little bit on the post show last week, but now that it's been out, I just have a couple thoughts. Number one is I want to apologize to all the Dialga people out here. Not really apologize. Dialga's good now. They made Dialga good. He has a Pokemon to send energy back to that is better than himself, which is Arceus. Dialga Arceus is very good. And Dialga Arceus is what I use to get my 5 wins, which reminds me that the 5 wins is not that fun. I don't know if you guys have finished your 5 wins or even want to finish your 5 wins.
I would like to. I like the golden emblem, but not there yet.
I haven't even started trying to finish my 5 wins.
Well, let me tell you about Dialga Arceus.
Yeah, I mean, I do have the cards to build the deck, I guess, but I like battling. I like battling other people. I like battling, doing the single player battling as well. But I don't know, the 5 wins thing it annoys me. It's a me thing. Like, I get too frustrated like when I get to 4 and lose. That like it just puts me off of wanting to play it at all. It's just like. So, I don't know. I didn't do the last one. I forget when that was. Was it Mythical Island, maybe? Or
No, that was Space Time. No, Space Time to SmackDown didn't have one.
Didn't have one, right?
Yeah.
The Mythical Island one, I got to 4 multiple times and then lost. And which is like, that happens. That's totally fine. Again, it's a me thing. I get too frustrated and I'm just like, I'm over this whole thing. And so this time, I'm just debating on whether I even want to start.
Well, you have 3 days left from the time we are recording. It ends 10:59 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesday, the 12th.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I think Triumphant Light is okay as a set.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's Arceus, right? Has anybody come out with stuff that is not like from this? So I know you could obviously add to what you already have, but Arceus is the main thing from the set, right? So I would imagine most of the sets nowadays are containing an Arceus one way or the other.
Well, if you liked Pachirisu or you were still running Pikachu EX, that dream is dead because Sudowoodo exists, and that is probably one of the best cards in that set.
Sudowoodo is very good. And
I think that more Sudowoodos need to exist. And I was saying this when I did my like analysis about Dialga and Palkia. I did like a YouTube video where it was like, these are the cards that are coming. This is what I think about them. And I said that there should be a held item that would do more damage to EXs to then kind of balance out the power of EXs. Obviously, I don't mind that. Like, I've played the TCG for a long time. EXs are EXs, right? But there are a ton of people that do like the no EX battles because they don't want to battle with EXs. They find it more fun to, not have big EXs, which is whatever. That's just a preference. I don't really care about that much. But I think naturally, if you have cards like Sudowoodo, you almost add some sort of balance in the game. Because for those that don't know, Sudowoodo does 50 damage for 1 energy as if your opponent is an EX, which is really good against Arceus, because Arceus is weak to fighting. And also really bad for Pikachu Pachirisu.
Yep. They kind of had it with Tauros, but Sudowoodo only needs 1 energy for this. And that makes a huge difference.
3 energy on Tauros was never a real
never gonna break.
Yeah, it's never a good solution.
It did get the early hype for sure.
It did, yes. So I don't know I don't know how I feel about the meta right now. But I would be curious what the competitive ranked ladder looks like supposed to be at the end of this month, right? Yeah. Dang, we're getting Cresselia, Darkrai, and ranked in TCG Pocket at the end of the month. Crazy.
Hold on. Cresselia, Darkrai is a Pokemon Sleep thing.
I know. We're getting 2 great things. 2
clarity.
Games charging you $10 a month, giving you great stuff at the end of the month. It's fine. I have so many, like, I really do like TCG Pocket, but I have just so many like little problems with TCG Pocket that it like adds up. For example, again, really silly, but the single player mode or whatever, where you're getting the Gibble and all that stuff, it is so annoying to me, and it can't just be me. When you do like the 5 battles and then you go into your items and then you have to open all 5 booster packs separately. Like it's not like it doesn't ruin the game, but it is like annoying. Or like when I don't play for, 20 hours and I have 3 booster packs because I'm premium. I just want to rip all 3. I don't want to do one by one.
But what if you want to do different sets? They
That's
can't
fine.
just like give you a 3-pack of like.
But
the
when
same
I'm committed
set.
to all 3, I wish there was a button to be like, just do all 3 on
3-pack or all packed
Yeah.
on one set.
just
They
like
do
a lot.
They do already have the animation for opening more than one pack at once, so this feels doable.
Yeah.
Well, they have the animation for opening 10-pack at once.
Yeah.
You still have to code in the animation for adding like 2 or 3 or 4 or like.
Bobby,
Fair.
Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V. Come on. Basic stuff. Again, I do not hate this game. I really, really like it, but I'm also on the fence of canceling my premium and doing the thing that other people are doing, which is you do premium mid-month. So you get the whatever that month is, and then it bleeds into the next month, and then you get all that stuff, and then you cancel. So instead of doing premium for 12 months, you're doing premium for 6 months because you're just positioning it from like the 14th to the 15th.
I don't think you get all the items though.
But I don't want all the items.
Okay.
I don't care. I don't care about the cover, the binder cover. Don't care. Don't care about the whatever that like
The
display case
The
or
display
whatever.
board. Yeah.
Don't care. Don't care.
You just want the coin
I want the
And
coin, the
the-
playmat, the sleeves. I'm okay.
and the card.
Yeah, the card's only 1 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's true. So you drop it now, or you drop it whenever, and then you pick it back up like April 15th. So you're going to get like April and May. You drop it before May 15th, and then you pick it back up June 15th, and you're gonna get June and July. I see.
I mean, you are losing out on the booster packs. But like how many EVs do I need?
I feel like you are just fine when it comes to collecting the cards with the way that you interact with this game. So I feel like losing out on one booster pack a day is not actually going to impact you that much.
Yeah, I still think so. If you're talking Steve specifically, sure. I'm sure you're like,
Yes.
because of how you play. I still think premium is great if you're not spending any other money in the game and you do want to open packs, because like, you're getting 30 packs a month.
Yeah, it
For
is the best
$10.
value in the game.
It's the
Hands
best
down.
value, I
But
also
if you're
see,
spending money on packs specifically, then premium might not be needed.
right. Yeah. I can see that. But if you're going to spend money, like if you're going to spend $10 to get 10 packs, you might as well spend $10 to get 30 packs. Like I still think like
I think I never made a video about this, but I did a whole Twitch stream about this where the like quote unquote proper way to play this game is to never use your hourglasses until a new set comes out. And because realistically what happens is let's use Triumphant Light because it just came out. There's like 79 cards, not including the secret rares, but it's like 79 cards to complete your set.
75.
And when you open your first like 10 booster packs or whatever, it's like new card, like everything's new, right? And all of a sudden you're at like after 10 booster packs, you're like, I'm 25% the way there. And then you open another 10 and you're like, I'm 50% the way there. And then you open another 10 and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so close to like completing the set. And then you realize that a lot of the cards you're missing, even though they're not like Tauros from Mythical Island's a really good one. Like Tauros is a rare card, but it's not a full art. It's not a secret rare. It's not an illustration art. But when you look at what its percentage is, it's like a 0.29% chance of pulling. It's actually really hard to pull it compared to what you would think. It was like, oh, it's not a fancy card by any means. So you could spend pack points on that. Or you could wait for it to show up in Wonder Trade, and even though it's a 1 in 5 chance, a 20% chance of getting Tauros is dramatically better than its like point whatever chance it is through a booster pack. So like ultimately, if you saved enough hourglasses to open 20 packs when a new set drops, you're going to get most of that set off the bat. And then, of course, you get either your 2 or your 3 booster packs a day, which you can continue opening on that new set or that old set. But you should still be holding those hourglasses for the new set so you can do another 20 off the bat. Because if you get 12 hourglasses and then you just spend them, and then you get 12 hourglasses and you just spend them, you're not. It's almost like you're getting diminishing returns on that set, because the likelihood of you pulling that Tauros in Mythical Island is so small compared to you just pulling like an EV. Like you're just going to get more EVs. I actually don't even know if EVs in Mythical Island. I think it is, but
I think it is.
But I think you just get more value from your hourglasses when you hold them for a new set. Because like right now, you know, even before I spent money on Triumphant Light, I was able to do 20 booster packs for free. And that was more than 50% of the set, right? I got like 2 Arceus. I got lucky. I got 2 Arceuses in like 20 packs. And then I had some money left over from New Year's that I used. And that was like another 20 packs. And then at that point, I was like, well, I'm like close to completing the set. And that was only 40 packs. And now every day I can do 3 packs, 3 packs, 3 packs, 3 packs. But I'm hoarding all of those hourglasses for the new set. So I can pretty much do that. Whereas if I, like, every time I get 12, I open a pack, and then all of a sudden a new set comes, and it's like, I feel behind because I don't have any hourglasses because I've been trying to pull a Probopass EX. But I think trading helps with that, right? Like, oh, I'm just missing that Tauros. I can trade for it now. Ultimately, the too long didn't read is like, stop spending your 12 hourglasses as soon as you get them. Let's like save them a little bit.
I mean, I'm trying to think of the statistics of all of this and the math, and I think it's mostly just based on whatever makes you feel good.
Yeah, but you're right. But if a new set comes out and you already feel behind, is that
I don't
just
get that?
Oh, I'm not saying
I'm
you
a
specifically.
free-to-play player. Yeah, but
I'm not saying you specifically.
I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels that.
But I think for me, as even collecting the physical cards, I don't walk into a Target and buy, well, pretend physical stores have cards in stock.
Yeah.
I don't walk into a Target and just like grab a booster pack of Twilight Masquerade and be like, I'm opening 1 pack today. Like I definitely got the most enjoyment when I was like, oh, a new set is out. I'm going to buy a booster box. I'm going to rip 36 packs. And now I am good for like 3 months until the next one comes out. And maybe here and there I'll be like, oh, there's a new blister pack or something. But I personally never was like, oh, I'm at Target. Let me grab 1 booster pack for the day. Oh, it's bad.
And that's how
better.
I grew up. That's how I grew up.
I wish I grew up that
if
way.
I had the small amount of money to get any Pokemon cards, I would get them here or there, and I would get a single pack.
Yeah. So I think there are some differences. One for like Pocket. Now that we know that not that they're going to do this every time, but like they opened up trading for Space Time Smackdown a day after Triumphant Light, or maybe the same day Triumphant Light came out. Like, and so it wasn't that long to have to wait for trading to open up. And I assume that will happen with Triumphant Light, like moving to the next set, then Triumphant Light will be able to be traded once the next set comes out. So I feel like and the ease of trading for cards that you may need is just there versus in like physical, it might be a lot harder to trade for the cards that you want. So I feel like there's just more avenues to get like very specific cards once you've opened 20 or 30 packs of a set. Now Triumphant Light is unique in the fact that it's only 75 cards, right? So you open 20 packs and you're halfway through the set or more than halfway through the set, and you're just kind of picking at the last ones to open. The next set that comes out could be like Genetic Apex, could be like 3 different packs, and there's a lot more at that point. But I do agree with Steve in that, like, I do enjoy saving the hourglasses until the next set comes out. Again, we're opening 3 packs a day with premium though. So like you are getting that 3 packs a day every day. You're probably with a smaller set like Triumphant Light.
3 times the disappointment every day. Like, oh,
you still get things from here and there.
Yeah,
I
you
think
do.
that
You do.
having more packs to open kind of leads you to opening the app more and interacting with the app more potentially. I don't know. I think that there is joy from opening a bunch of packs all at once at the beginning of when a set drops. I agree with that. But I also think that there is joy in having the little notification of, oh, you have a new pack to open. And then going into the app and realizing, oh, I have enough hourglasses to open another pack. It's fun. It's exciting.
No, I
There's
agree with
still
you. I am worried though for the free to play people that the next set is going to be Genetic
A big
Apex
one.
size. And there's still plenty of time, right? We have all of March and ideally all of April where you can do, if you're free to play, 2 packs a day. I think in this case, I think you should be saving. Because
That's fair.
if this new set is 3, that's going to be big. And if it's going to be big, that means the meta is going to change. So if we're talking about like the 5 wins or the ranked or just the sheer size of collecting, I think you should be saving. I know it's very tempting to be like, I got 12 hourglasses, free pack. I know it's tempting. I really do. But they can't keep just doing these little sets. I don't think these little sets are nearly as satisfying as like the intro of Genetic Apex. Like having so many cards and being like, oh my gosh, everyone's getting something different. Like I feel like another big set needs to come because it was like 3, 1, 2, 1.
Yeah. I guess as a free-to-play player who has no hope of collecting all the sets anyways, a big set is going to continue to be exciting regardless of whether I have the hourglasses to open a bunch of packs at the beginning or not.
Yes. But I think if you're just a little conservative and you start saving your packs now, you have like 2 months to finish Triumphant Light, which I said you could do it in. I did it in about 40, so that's 2. So that's 2 times whatever the math is, 20 days. That's 20 days of Triumphant Light. You should be close to where I was after 40, and then the trading. And then the Wonder Pick should fill in the gaps. Like, I only Wonder Pick for cards I'm missing. I don't know if other people do that.
Yeah, same. I see some differences here in thought is all I'm seeing, right? I'm seeing the, like, I want to open everything as soon as it comes out.
Yes.
Thought process. I very much have that same thought process. Obviously, if you know me at all, I'm very much like, it's a new thing. I want to open as much of it as possible. Versus it's not going anywhere. So eventually, like, I'm going to be able to open the stuff I want, and eventually I will get, like, hopefully get what I want.
I'm not
mindset.
That's not quite even there. I don't expect to open everything I want. I don't expect that from this game. I just expect to open packs and enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, so, like, again, it still is 2 different, like, thought processes. Like, I don't know. I don't think one is better than the other. I think there's just 2 very different ways of, like, looking at collecting.
Like I said earlier, just open the packs in this game in whatever way makes you happy.
But maybe the way that makes you happy is opening a bunch at the beginning of the next set.
And that's just fine. That's
and if
why
you don't
I'm saying it that way.
And if you don't save, then you won't be able to do that.
That's why I'm saying just open packs in whatever way makes you happy.
I think yes. I'm not telling you. Hannah's correct. Yes. I think what made Genetic Apex so exciting for people is they were able to open a ton of packs. But that is because there were all those missions to give you a bunch of free packs.
Yeah.
All the ranking up from the beginning.
And if people feel like they're feeling behind, there's a combination of why you're feeling behind. One is you've hit the point of diminishing returns with these packs. You've opened up so many packs that you've found all the easy ones. And so now when you open a pack, you're like, oh, nothing good. Oh, nothing good. And that's very common in like the real TCG. Mm-hmm. But then when a big set comes out, you're going to also feel, one, you're going to feel you're behind. And two, you're not going to have that feeling that you felt for Genetic Apex because you don't have any hourglasses to use. Because Genetic Apex gave you so many hourglasses that where you're probably never going to have that again. Like you're never just going to have so many missions to give you as many hourglasses. So overall, I think that you should save between sets, but if you want to go Hannah's route and just open as soon as you get it, that is a valid way to do it. But I think in this case, I am speculating that the next set is going to be big. And if you want that Genetic Apex feeling, if you want that feeling, you might have to save.
Yeah. And guess what? DNA is counting on that. And you know why? Because they have the gold there to give you that feeling when you don't have the Genetic Apex feeling. They're like, hey, but you could just buy the packs. And that is exactly what they're counting on. So,
yeah. And we have learned that when a new set drops, they make the most money.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if you've ever browsed YouTube, you will see people being like, I spent $6,000 to complete this set. And it's just like, I guess thank you for funding this game because I'm not spending $6,000.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But good for you, man. I'm glad you got 2 gold Pikachus that are completely useless now because the meta has shifted so much. But you have them in your collection. That's cool, I guess. All right, that's it for the week. We're going to do a post show. I'm actually not sure if Bobby's going to stick around because he has stuff to do, but if he is, cool. If not, no big deal. We'll do a post show. If you want to listen to just some details of ZA that we missed, we're saving that for the post show. Obviously, we talked about it for like 50 minutes last week, but we can continue talking about it. So if you would like that, and you're on the Apple Podcast app, if you hit the little subscribe button, it'll update the feed and you'll get the premium feed. Otherwise, you can go to patreon.com/PKMNcast, and then you'll get the premium feed there. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, I've been putting the video version of the premium stuff on Patreon. Maybe I'll edit. Look, I got to upload a lot of things to a lot of places. Maybe I'll eventually upload it to YouTube for members. There's a lot here. But anyway, it's all on Patreon. Patreon is the best place to go for everything. It's the best way to support the show because Patreon also only takes 8%, whereas like YouTube or Twitch or all these other websites, they take 30%. Apple, I'm looking at you, also taking 30%. I'm a starving artist over here, and you're going to take 30% of my income? Crazy. Billionaires, I tell you. But anyways, Patreon if you want more content. Otherwise, if you are subscribed, the credits will roll, and then you'll get the premium stuff automatically. So anyways, thank you for listening. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Bobby. Stick around for the premium if you have it. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
super effective.
Super digging through old school stuff to look for middle school dioramas that I can potentially put a Cheeto Mander in. Effective. Yeah, but if that's the case, it just means that something like PSA could be so arbitrary and so subjective.
Don't people already think
is
PSA is arbitrary because they'll get their 9 back and then they crack it open and they send it again?
Frustrating.